Hi, welcome to another lesson. In this lesson, we are going to combine what we have learned so far in this our backend development. Today, we are going to combine HTML, PHP, and use it to store data into our backend, which is MySQL database. So the first thing we are going to do is to create a new project. Create a new folder inside my www folder, or if it is XAMPP, you use htdocs. I will call it my shop. So here in my shop, I will open my Visual Studio Code right here, and then I'm going to start by designing a form that we are going to use to create our form. In this case, we want to use Bootstrap styling. So therefore, the first thing I will do is I will create a new file. I will call it products. In e-commerce, there will be products that we are going to be adding products, edit products, delete products, and display a list of products available. So in this case, I will create a product.php. Then I will start my PHP here, stop my PHP here. Under, I'm going to create HTML 5. Okay, now if we do this, then we can now start our application to see what we have right here. So I'm going to go to localhost / my shop / products. If you like, you add .php. So you can see nothing is showing right here for now. So what we are going to do is we're going to go to Bootstrap and add some content from Bootstrap. How do we do that? We go to our browser and type getbootstrap.com. Here in the getbootstrap.com, we're going to go to documentation, and then here we see the documentation of Bootstrap. Bootstrap is a powerful feature-packed front-end toolkit. Build any from prototype to production in minutes. And the purpose of using Bootstrap is to create a mobile-friendly application. So now let us see how to implement this. So we have different versions of Bootstrap. For instance, this is version 5.2. If you click here, you see different releases which they have, the previous versions and all that. You can go click on all versions to see a lot of more versions. So we're going to go with this one that we have, and then we go to download. How do we download Bootstrap? Bootstrap is more or less like a ready-made classes created, components created for us. What we just need to do is to reference it like we reference our external CSS and start calling the classes. So therefore, we need to download Bootstrap and be calling the classes. So we want to download. If you want to download, you can download a ready-to-use compiled code. But because this one doesn't have things like popper that will be able to allow us to use all these components like modal, a responsive nav bar, and all that, therefore we're going to download this second one, which is download source. Or if you like, you can download this example and use it as a template. But we're going to do this download source. See, it will download for you. I've downloaded mine already. That is why my download application is asking me that do I want to resume it. So you click on OK to download, or you can as well reference it online. You can reference your Bootstrap online. For instance, if you want to reference it the online, you copy this, put it at the top of the application. Sorry, I want to close. Okay, so you put it at the head, either part of your application like this. Then the second part here, you put it at the bottom before the closing tag in the body. See, this one is inside the head before the header close. This one in the body down here. Then you are good to go. But in case you want to download, there is something I want you to take note of. You know, it is only the URL that will not be there, but you will still do what? In the download folder, you will see dist and see CSS and Bootstrap mini.css. Inside the dist again, you see JS, Bootstrap mini bundle.mini.js, and this popper and Bootstrap mini.js. So you see all this inside when you download. So what you just need to do is that you remove other parts except from this dist. Remove other parts and let it remain this only. But if you are, that is if you download and you put the project inside this same my shop folder, you reference it this way. Let me show us that. I already downloaded it. So this is it, Bootstrap. I will cut it and put inside my shop like this. I will paste it and then extract that. So once the extraction is done, I will only copy the dist file inside the extraction. While we are waiting for that, so you remove the URL, it remains this only and all that. And if there's any change in the URL, you update it accordingly. If there's any change with the directory where you unzip your file into. So it is done. Let's go ahead and check it. This is it. Strap. This is the dist I talk about. See the JS, the CSS and all that. So I want to see if there is this UMD there. There is no UMD right here for now. So that means we only reference words. And the one that we download here like this, it has the popper.js already. We don't need to reference it separately. It's a combine or combination of all the bundles. So what we just need is JS and the CSS. So this is it, Bootstrap mini.js. And if we like, you can use just Bootstrap.js. You can use either of these two. Then for the CSS, you can as well reference Bootstrap.css or Bootstrap mini.css. That is how you reference your CSS in the application. So here, if this is it, if we are using offline, you don't need this anymore. It is already bundled inside this second one, which is Bootstrap mini.css, JS. Okay, so now let us try something. If we now put something here, probably if I say h1 tag and say hello, if you go to your page and you reload your content, You get the hello. If you take notes, this hello is using Bootstrap. If you want to know whether it is using Bootstrap, then you can just remove the reference to Bootstrap and see what will happen. If I should try that, say for instance, I remove this line, I remove these two as well, and then save and reload my page. You see that it has changed, no more Bootstrap styling. So therefore, when you do this, let's bring it back, you know that you have Bootstrap. Now, how do we design our form with Bootstrap? Bootstrap is very easy to learn. If you go to the Bootstrap documentation, under this you see layouts, different layouts, content, forms for forms, and components for different types of components. Now, taking for instance, if we need form, you can just click on form here, overview. Let me open in another tab, and then we'll have different types of form, and the code will also show. So we are going to need form, and as well we are going to need some components right here, such as nav bar. We're going to need nav bar. We are going to need modal and things like that. Okay, so now let us move on and design our page. So what I'm going to do first is that this is our product.php, and when we come here to show it, we are seeing just hello world. In a normal application, you will have like your navigation menu and then your form under. So therefore, I'm going to start by explaining how to use include and require in application development using PHP. Now I'm going to create a new file. I will call it header.php. So inside this header.php, I am going to include my navigation. Let's see, navigation bar, different types of navigation bar that we have in Bootstrap. See, if we want this, nav, home, link, drop down, disabled, search, and this. Or if you don't want that, maybe you want another one that we have just nav bar and you don't have the menu, you have the menu yourself, or different types that we have here. Anyone you like. If this is what you like, you copy the code down here, but I love the first one. I am going to use the first one, which is this. I will click on this icon to copy it, and then I will put it inside the header. That is for header. Now I'm not going to be accessing this header directly, so I will go to product, and here in my body, rather than showing hello, I will just put here PHP, close the PHP, and say include. So we have include once. Include is always going and fetch the files all over again, while include once, we include it once and move on. So include once, if we like, put parentheses as, use it as a function, or you use it ordinarily without the function. So here I will say we are including what? Header.php. This is the means of like inputting the content of one file into another file. What we are doing is whatever we have inside header.php, include it here. So why can't we just come here and put the navigation here? The reason why is that navigation will cut across all the pages that we have. So for us to make it a reusable component, we put it in another file and we'll be using include. Anywhere we need header now, we just include this in the file. Now if we go to our page and reload that, then we get the navigation bar. Now with Bootstrap, we have some other things, like if you want the content to be centralized, that's under layout, we get containers. Container is used to centralize our work. We don't want it to fill the entire screen, we just want it to be, and we want it to fill certain space part of the page, like maybe on a large screen it should be 960 pixel, or extra large it should be 1140 pixel, and then it will make it to be much more responsive. So we're going to come here in the body here, so everything, all our content will be inside the container. So I'm going to create a div right here now, create a div. The div will close at this place so that we'll have all our content around the div, and give the div a class of container. You know, I told you rightly that Bootstrap contains classes that you are just to call in your project and use. So we don't need to do much, just call the class and then you get the functionality of centralizing the project. Look at it now, it has adjusted, it has shifted the menu. We now have this place here, you have this place here, and if you want it to fill the screen like that, then you give it container fluid. Container fluid. If you want to check that, it's in the documentation. We have container fluid. That is 100% always. It's not going to be adjusting it to anything. So that is it. See, it's back there. So that has to use container and container fluid. That's now for our form. We are going to go on. We want to do something that, okay, on this product page we need table to display all our products, and then we should be able to add a new product. So we are going to use a modal to create the form to add. So how do we go about modal? Modal is a pop-up that will display our content on a pop-up modal. Taking for instance, if you click on a button like this and then you see a dialog, that's what a pop-up means. So how do you have something like this? You copy, that's the code down there, copy this, put it on your page. So here I'm going to paste it, and then if I should go to my page right now, reload, then I get the button. If I click on it, it shows the pop-up. Now how is this going on? This is the button that says launch demo modal. I'm going to change this to add products. That's the first thing. Then the button has changed to add modal. Now when you click on this button, the modal is calling onto full screen. Okay, the modal is calling, you can see, target example modal. We will the one with ID example modal. So you can change it to rename it to another thing if you like. So ID example modal, that's what makes this button to show this, and that's the dot you were seeing. When you click on it, see again, that's it. Okay, If I refresh, my changes should have taken effect now. So you add products, and then you see the doctor. Now the modal has modal header, body, and footer. So let's go and check the code in the modal. Now the modal starts from here. This is it. So we have modal header. That's the place where we have the modal title. This place too, we go about products, add products. So the modal header starts here and ends here. Then we have modal body. That's the place where you have your content for the body, and then modal footer where we have the buttons. Alright, so now we want to have our form right inside here. Right inside here. So what I will do is I will put a comment there. That's here. I will say form starts here. Then I will come under and say form ends here. Now this is a comment. Just place your mouse beside it and press Ctrl// to comment it out. Here, Ctrl// to comment it. So we pull our form right here. Let's go and look for Bootstrap form and see how to design a form in Bootstrap. So we come here, form. We have different from inputs. So we have, this is one type of form. So we just need to copy one and then adjust it to our needs. So I will go ahead and copy this one that we have email, password, check me, submit button. I will copy it and then put it inside where we have form starts here, form ends here. Then we have our form. Before we start adjusting it, let us see how our form looks like now. If I refresh the page, click on add, then we see our form right there. Okay, now that we have our forms, let me close all these ones so that we'll be able to focus on what we need. Okay, so now we already have it. Let's go to our code and adjust things. Now the form starts here. You can see form. The first thing we need to do is to put method here. Method. You know, if you did not do that, it will assume that you are using a post and it will be submitting your form through the URL. Now div mb3 opens from here and ends here. Inside it we only have label input. We don't need this email help because we are not doing email. This is not register, so we only need label and this, and then we don't need this for, it's not compulsory, but if you like you can just change it. Rather than that example email input, you change it to whatever you want to change it to. So this one is for product name, and then input type is not email, it's going to be text. So we need form control. Those are the two things that are very, very important here: form input and form control. Okay, so ID we don't need, we can change the ID, but let's let it be for now. Let me just remove unnecessary attributes so that we focus on what we need only. So now here I will delete others and change that up to this submit button. I will delete it. So now we only have our form open, one div inside, and form close. So I will duplicate these divs and adjust it to our need. So that one was for product name. Here will be for price. Oh, okay, we need to put name inside so that I won't come back to start doing that again. Name is equal to product. When you are giving your name, make sure there is no space in the name. Here name is equal to price. Okay, so that's for the second div. We copy this again, create our third div, which is probably maybe for quantity. And price is also quantity. Now, when you are adding image, there will be a kind of image. You add image into your image. So therefore, I will paste that again, give it image. But in this case, it won't be text. Even for this price, it won't be text, so that it will restrict them from writing text into a price. For quantity as well, to restrict them from writing quantity. So for this one, it's going to be file, and name is image. Okay, so input type file, name is image, and label is also image. Now if we go ahead and check what we have designed so far, if I click on this, yeah, we have it. So product name, price, quantity. You can see the quantity, see the price. They are numbers, but product name is text. So these ones are numbers. You can increase, you can decrease. Now it's going to minus, and this is not right. Product price and quantity shouldn't be minus. So we need to fix that. We add what to it? Minimum. So for the price, we add an attribute minimum, meaning that the minimum value should be 1. At least if you are selling at $1 or any currency, it shouldn't be 0. Then for quantity as well, quantity, we can have quantity of 0. So you can say quantity is 0, so that in case if there is no more, the product is no more available, or it is out of stock, that will be 0. Okay, maybe, or you are adding it initially, it's not going to have anything. So now price, if we go to 1, you can't go below 1, because that is the minimum. So you can't go to 0. But on quantity, you can go to 0, but you cannot go to minus. So our form is ready now. Let us grab the form inside PHP. So now for us to grab form inputs, I said this name is very, very important. You have to take note of that name that we are giving our inputs. Is what we are going to use to grab the value. Name is what we are going to use to grab the value. So let us go ahead and do that. So we are going to implement that at the top of the page. Okay, but before we do that, we are not done yet. I remember there is something we need to do. This form ends here, which means when they click on this submit, it's not going to submit the form input. So our form is supposed to end after this button. So we are going to go on, move this closing tag of the form out here, and put it probably right here. So which means our form ends here. We also move down to this place. Okay, so the button is now within the form, and then the type of the button must be submit. For it to submit the button, the form inputs, and then we give it a name equal to add product, because that is the operation we are doing, add product. So therefore, if we go on to our page now, reload the page and click on this, if you click on save button, then you can see that something happens. When you click it before, nothing happened. If you want to know what is happening, the guy tries to submit your form, but because you did not do anything, everything was quiet. If you go back to your form, change this one to get and try it, you will see that it will submit those form inputs. If I refresh, click on this, see, we have product is what? Product name, price is equal to empty, quantity empty, image empty, and then the add button, the add product we click is also what? Empty. All right, so that is what we are submitting our form now. So when we type something inside the form, all those things we have value, and we wait to submit those inputs into our database. All right, so now let us go ahead and add the PHP to submit those things inside database. So the first thing we need to do is that we need to connect to the database. So I will do this because it is not only on products.php that we are going to be accessing database. We are going to have some other places where we will access database. So therefore, I will move my connection to database into another file separately, and I will call it dbconnect to depict what we are doing .php. So what are we doing inside dbconnect? What we are doing is that we are only going to connect to the database. So I will create a variable, say db is equal to new MySQLi is a function to connect to database. And what are the things we are going to specify? I'm going to specify 4 things. The first thing we ask, how do you know 4 things? By the time I open this, you supply what? The server name, which is localhost. If you like, you can define this as a variable outside there and pass those variables here. You can create it as a variable up here. Say maybe variable server is equal to the same thing, localhost, and then we call server inside here. So it depends, but I'm typing it directly. Server name, then username that we connect. In this case, we are using root, and our root has no password, comma, and then the name of our database is the test one. Okay, so we terminate. So in this case, we have created a connection to the database and store it inside where db. Now anytime we need to connect to the database, we call this file and then we have access. So now we go on here and do that. So here we just say include or require once. We can, I said initially that we can use parentheses. If you like, don't use parentheses. Require once dbconnect.php, terminate, and then you will now check when they click on the submit button. Our submit button, rather than saying save changes, let's make it submit. Let's give it the name submit. That one is just by choice, but this name is very, very important. Add product. When they click on this, that's when you should submit all these values. Okay, so now we'll go on there and put an if condition. Say if is set is a PHP function to check whether a value is set. You can see it determines if a variable is declared and that variable is not null. So now we use a global variable post because our method is post. Let me change it back. I think I changed it the other time to get. I'm going to change it back to post. So now it is now post. It's no more get. so that we use variable post up here. Okay, so if it is post what this, then inside add products. What are we doing here? We are saying, okay, when it is said add product, remember the other time it showed in the URL when you click on the submit button. So that means when you click on the submit button, it is set like that. So when it is set, then variable product name is equal to the variable product name. Okay, so we duplicate this. Before we duplicate that, let us use some HTML functions filters that will filter out SQL injection and all that. Though we are going to create this as a function later on and use it with it. Okay, maybe we should wait till then. We'll do that later. So at least let's see how to submit our. So we're going to do this for, we have about 4 items there. So the first one is product name, the second one is price for the product price, quantity, now for image has a special requirement. And what's the requirement for image? The first thing you do is that create variable image. Instead of post, we use files, because in this case it is file, not image. And what's the name of that? We name it image. If you check your form, that's what it is. Okay, the name is image. Okay, so now variable image is image, and then image will be sent as an array, so therefore we have to grab it individually. So the first thing is we grab the image name and store it inside this. Then at second, the temporary name for the image temporary directory is equal to the temporary directory of the image. Then we get the size of the image. We name it image size. It's got to file name and then size. Now we need to get the extension of the image extension. So I'll create a variable img extension is equal to, the first thing is our image extensions. We have different image extensions. We have JPG, we have PNG, we have GIF, and so on and so forth. But in this case, it could be JPG in small letter or capital letter. Images can be stored that way. That is why we need to first of all do what? Convert to lower, string to lower is a function. Whatever we want to do, we store it into lowercase before we pass it into our image extension variable. And then how do we get image extension? We are going to use path info. Inside the path info, we put inside the path info we put the string path, and then we use the option of what? Either of these, either directory name or extension. So what is our path? Our path is this temp directory, comma, then extension is path info underscore extension. Okay, that stores the image extension. Now, after doing this, what we want to do in PHP, whenever you are dealing with image, you don't store the entire image into database. You only store the name, but the actual file, you are going to upload it into a directory that we are probably will create a directory here, folder. That's what I mean by directory, like images, where we'll be storing whatever they upload. So therefore, we declare that as a variable, saying variable upload directory is equal to images slash, that is this folder. If we want to separate things, maybe we are going to be uploading users image, product image, and other things, then inside this we can specify product folder again, user folder again, and then here for product we put slash product slash again. But that is what we are going to do now. Now, whenever you want to upload the user image, what we want to do is that, because you can upload the same image with the same name multiple times, so we won't be storing the exact image name. Take it for instance, let's say I want to upload a product. I name the image orange.png for the first product. I may come another time, I want to upload another product that its name is also what? Orange. So if you have two like that and there is already one image with orange, it's going to overwrite that and then do what? And display. So that product will now be displaying the new image. So for that not to happen, we'll be having a unique random number for every time our image is created. So that is why we are going to do that. So I will come right here and say our new image is equal to rand. We do what? It generates a random integer, and then it will start from minimum and maximum. So we want it to start from 1000, for instance, to maybe 100,000. Generate any number from that between 1000 to 100,000. Then when you generate that number, concatenate with extension with dot, concatenate again with what? With the image extension that we grab here. So we are creating another image like that, and we pass the extension to it. So to generate a number and let it have dot the extension or that our image. That's a new image we have created now. Then we will now move the image into this uploaded directory. So what are we now going to do? We are going to check. We are going to be having to check the size of the image if it is not more than 5 megabytes, because we don't want people to come and upload any size to our application. We need to restrict the number of size that people upload into our application. So therefore, I will check that if the image size is less than or equal to, now this is in bytes, so we need to specify this. This is 5 kilobytes. So this is 5 megabytes. in that case, so if it is less or equal to 5 megabytes, then that is when we want to upload our image into this. We'll say move uploaded file. Look at the parameter it takes, string path, file name, and then destination where you want to upload it. So what are we uploading? We are uploading the temp directory file, comma, to where? Into this path. This path does what? The image you are uploading. Which image? New image. To the new image you are uploading. So this will upload this into the folder what? Images folder. And therefore, once this is done, then we can now go ahead and store our record into the database. How do we now do that? We will now say we're going to create an SQL statement. Variable SQL is equal to insert. I want my insert SQL statement to be in capital letter. Insert into then our table, which is product. So what are the values we are inserting? Column we are inserting into? We are inserting to product name, comma, price, comma, quantity, comma, the image name. Then values. What are the values we are inserting? Then we provide those values. So for now, let us pass these variables directly. Say, single quotes, don't forget that. Product name, comma, single quotes for the price, comma, same thing for quantity, comma, then the image we are uploading now is this new image, the new image, because that is the newly generated name that we have. And then single quotes, and this is our SQL statement. So we are going to terminate that one as well. If there's anyone we've not been terminating, for instance this, we need to terminate, otherwise we are going to get error. Okay, so after this one, then our DB that we created inside this place, this variable, we go ahead and call it because we have included it here already. So we say DB is what? Query, run our what? Variable SQL. So we are going to check and say this will run our SQL statement, but we will check if it runs successfully. See, if this, so I won't close the if condition. If this returns true, that is what it is, if we check if something is true or not. So if this returns true, then echo, we're going to echo a JavaScript that will alert that product added successfully. Alert, single quote for alert, say product added successfully. Okay, then we close the script right here. close the script, and then we terminate. So now let us check if there's any error or not, at least on the page first. So I'll go ahead and refresh this. If there's any error, you get the error. No error. Okay, so everything displays well. So the next thing is for us to try if this will upload successfully, but we need to first of all check in our database, do we have a table for called product text 1. We only have users table, so we create a new table ID integer, the index primary, go ahead, and then auto increment. That one is for sure. The second one will be product name. It's a variable character. The product name will at most, let's have it to be, it shouldn't be more than that. Then price. Our price is also what? Yeah, we can give our price to be a real number. Real will automatically add decimal to it even if they type a natural number. Quantity, let's make it a variable character, 255. Then we need one more column. Let me make this to be InnoDB. We need one more column. Okay, up here our table name is what? Product. We need to be, and we'll add one more column and call it what? Image. Our image will be variable character 255. Then we save. So once this is done, we have our product table now: ID, product name, price, quantity, image. Then we go ahead and save our data using the form. So this is how to add a product into the database. In our next lesson, we are going to be looking at how to display it inside here. We just have to use a bootstrap table that will be under here. So when you add a product, you click on this, click on submit, then it is going to submit into database and reload the page and show the product immediately right here. Thank you.